And if you haven't tried already, hello gang, we're back here today with the Black Beauty again. This is the Bee Cool Pathfinder made by Bee Cool Bikes. This is a 26-inch fat tire mountain bike. It's a 48 volt 750 watt rear hub system with a 20 amp hour battery. We're gonna go ahead and check this thing out today, and we're gonna go over specs, and then we're gonna obviously stick to the theme of can an E mountain bike get you up the mountain. We got to do a hill test on this. So let's begin here. As you can see, we're keeping it pure today. The bike is dirty. This is coming fresh off a trail. Sorry I didn't clean it up for y'all, but this is going to be a very pure review of real bike. This is the first e-bike that I've purchased. It's going to be a year old in October. We've almost got 1,000 miles. I think we're at like 969 here. So this is pretty much the 1,000-mile review, as well as what this bike can do, and can it do what it's supposed to? What is the point of a mountain bike that you can't get to the mountain? So we've got our mountain bike style handlebars here. These are a little narrow for my liking, but it's cool when you're trying to get through traffic and you're lane splitting or whatever. Then that's when it's nice, but you get more control over the vehicle with a wider handlebar. This is the display. One of the better points of this bike here. Here we go, we're on there. Hopefully you all can see that. It's really bright out here. One of the main things I like about this display is that it has a voltage meter. So after we got rid of that voltage sag, we're sitting here at 50.2 volts. This is going to be more accurate than any battery reader out there, because it's going to tell you to the exact what kind of power you have left. 54.1 is fully charged. You are dead and walking home and pedaling at 39 volts. We're at 50.2. We're almost fully charged. So it's a real nice color display there. Right over here we've got the mode button, up and down arrow for pedal assist. There is a section on here for turn signals, but this bike does not have turn signals. We do have brake lights though. We've got brake lights in the front. We got a headlight in the front. Let's check out that headlight. I'm not going to bother turning it on when it's this bright, but that thing actually works better than I expected it to. Now, let's get this goat head off of there. The Rev 1 has the best headlight I've seen on an e-bike, but this one does pretty good for as small as it is. Here's the fat tires. We're 4 inches wide here, and this is a 26-inch wheel. These tires add suspension to the bike. They also just look freaking cool, man. Let's just be honest. We got front suspension on here. Minimal travel, but it's definitely better than not having suspension, believe me. It's adjustable. Got a little preload there. Not a real rear suspension here, but what we do have is a suspension seat post. I don't know if anybody has experience with this, but I always thought these were a gimmick. This thing actually works really well. It keeps the sturdiness of the hardtail when you're riding, keeps the bike sturdy, and you can keep your speeds up, keep your range up. But this thing actually really absorbs and cushions the bumps surprisingly well. This is our battery here in this tube with the Bee Cool Bikes logo. It's very attractively put into this tube to be a little more discreet. Most e-bikes, you know, have the big battery boxes on there that are just very noticeable from far away. This is a little more discreet, but it's big, 20 amp hours, and on a 48 volt bike, that's going to get you some pretty decent range, which is something that you want to think about when you're buying a bike, because adding range is harder later. It's better to get the bike with the range that you want from the beginning, because modifications on e-bikes are not cheap. All right, here's our Shimano gear shifter here. This is the pretty standard one that you see on most e-bikes. There's a reason why, because it works. It's simple, it works. Are there better? Yes, but this works. It's worked for the first 1,000 miles. I have no complaints. We stay in the fast gear pretty much. We go down to the low gear, obviously, for hills, but other than that, we like to stay in this fast gear. We got a few accessories on there. We got the water bottle holder, which actually holds a JBL little pill pod music player that just fits in there so perfectly. We've got the Rock Bros bag right here. I love this thing. You can waterproof your cell phone bag right there if you need to. I have a holder for up here, but as someone noted in the last video, it obstructs the view of the video, so I took that off. We're using this one today. We've got this $40, whatever that name is, bag from Walmart here. That thing did not pass the test of time. It was cool at first, but it did not take very long for this thing to fall apart. We've got some really cool panniers coming for this. It's going to really sexify this bike. It's going to look really, really sick after that when we replace this. Having this real rack is functional though. It's underneath the bag. It adds cargo. It makes life easier. Even if you didn't expect to stop somewhere, if you do, you got room to put something, even if you don't have a backpack. Here's our motor down here. 750 watts. Don't know the brand. Through the first 1,000 miles, it's been cool. It's very quiet, very smooth. It's got the power you should expect from a 750. It's, I think, a true 750. Probably peaks at around 11, maybe 1,200. I'm not sure. Probably 1,100 watts. We've got 180 millimeter brake rotors back here. Dual hydraulic brakes, front and rear. 180 in the front as well. So that's pretty much the basic specs of this bike. Here's that rear brake light here. Not the brightest, but not the dimmest. It's better to have than not have. And actually, I lied to you all. I said there's no turn signals on this bike. There are turn signals in the rear. This will actually give you a rear signal. Let's see if we can turn that on real quick. Get the bike some power back. We're just going to show you what it looks like. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, it's not the brightest, but the fact that it has it, I just think it's cool. There's the left on there. Switch it over to the right. There's the right turn signal. We also have a horn. It's like most e-bikes, connected to the headlight. Pretty standard for e-bikes. We've got these grips here. They don't lock. These are not locking grips, but they're like made out of some kind of faux leather. They got a cool stitching on there. They do spin in your hands. The nice part about them is the wide ergonomic grip part, where you can, on longer rides, you can flatten your hands out on these and distribute your weight out a little more evenly, and it helps. So that I do like. The locking, not having locking grips, I don't like. So that's gonna end. There's one more mod. There's that e-bike alarm on there. You can see that sitting there. We just gave one of those away last week. That is a must-have for these things, especially until you can get your bike insured. But what I'm going to say right now is that is going to be the end of this portion. We're going to hop on this thing, take it to one of my favorite hills in town. It's a lot steeper than it looks in the video. That seems to always be the case, but you can trust me, this is a pretty decent grade hill we're going to test this on, because if you're going to get on an e-mountain bike, you want to be able to ride it on the mountains, at least to a reasonable extent for a bike with this power. Man, this thing is dirty. Let's go ahead and get to the hill test. All right, so we're at the hill climb section of the e-mountain bike review. Bee Cool Pathfinder. This is a pretty good grade hill that's nice to test on. We're gonna wait for traffic to clear up. We're gonna do 2 runs. One straight throttle, and then we're gonna do the other on pedal assist. We're gonna go ahead and just bump it straight up to POS 5. Right now, here we go, full throttle. Okay, we got a little bit of a flat start. We're at 15, 16, 15, 16, fluctuating. We're going straight up 17, 16, 16. Can we make it? 16, 17, we're holding. This kind of riding really wears on your motor though. It's kind of slow incline riding. You really want the torque to handle this when you're doing this kind of stuff. People think it's the fast riding that kills your motor. It's actually the slow uphill riding that will kill your motor. But we made it though. That was cool. That was a good run. All right, we're at the same hill again. We're going to take the same approach with the slight, maybe 5-foot rolling start, but this time pedal assist 5. No throttle at all. We're going to see. Let's make sure we're clear here. We're ready to go. Let's do this. All right. Much easier start. We're at 16, 15, 16, 17. So it's getting us up at exactly the same speed as the throttle. It was just maybe a quicker start because of my leg help. But I don't feel the same struggle that I felt with full throttle. So on these 48-volt bikes, especially a heavy rider like myself, you definitely want to help it out on the hills and save your motor. It's really important for the longevity of your bike. So that is what I would recommend here, YouTube. But that is the mountain part of our mountain e-bike test. Because if you can't get to the mountain, how are you going to do any mountain biking? You got to be able to tackle hills. Hills are a part of life out here in Colorado. We live out here in the Rockies, man. So, what are my thoughts on this bike after this review and hill test? I'm going to cruise through town for a second. I'm going to say, first off, for what this is supposed to be, an e-mountain bike, I'm pleased with it, especially for a 48-volt system. This bike has some nice sized cranks on it, so it's great for pedaling. And as long as you're willing to give this motor help and pedal, I haven't really encountered a hill that's defeated me. So, all in all, this is a good bike for the power. I would definitely recommend this. We're gonna wrap this one up today. We got a treat on Friday, a nice feel-good Rev 1 ride, and we're gonna give you 3 reasons to buy an e-bike on Friday. Thank you, everybody. We love you. Until next time, it's Manny Reed TV.